There you go, guys. Well, back at it again. Front wheels back on. Uh, car's back down on the ground at the front anyway. So I haven't really got any further in here. Still the same weekend as my last video. So basically, I'm sort of ready to here to go. Just got to get a few odds and ends, but I'm just starting to get into the hopefully the final sort of clean up of the main shower, especially where I've got a epoxy primer the whole car. So all the 2-pack paint takes. So I'm sort of apart from probably in here, I'll probably flick as much as I can in here. I'm not too worried about anything on the motor except for probably the manifold and the water pump getting any paint on it. So that's not hard to sort of cover up. But so yeah, it's basically just these inner pieces and these pieces here that need any paint or primer on them. So I'll give them a quick scuff a wee bit later on, but I'm just trying to get this ready as I can to hoping before the end of this week coming, I'll be if I can get enough opportunities out here, I'll be ready to flick first coat of basically epoxy primer on here, and then I can start filling on the main shell, get these back guards sorted. There's a couple of minor little ripples in the roof. So a little one in here, but I sort of knocked a little bit of a dent out of here. You might better sort of see that it's a little bit shiny there where it's not sanding across. So there's a little wee shallow dent there, but it's basically nothing. So yeah, like a light skim through there will tidy that up, and hopefully even by the time I put 2 or 3 real good coats of high build primer on, when we get a bit more closer to that stage, that'll probably fill the worst of it. Actually, the roof's pretty straight, as far as I can tell. So yeah, like I just want to get everything cleaned up, get all these door jams and all the sort of stuff cleaned up, and the posts, the centre posts, and a little bit of these, just a touch of these inside posts where it's going to have colour on as well, because you see those pieces and those inside pieces of the centre posts. You don't see anything on the back ones, so that doesn't matter. Like it can sort of just stay as it is. So yeah, it's just a matter of trying to get this all cleaned up and nice and ready to take. So once I've got it sanded back, I'm happy with all the corners and all that sort of stuff. That's the big thing, like you can make a car as straight as you want, but it's when you come back into all these funny corners, around all your boot area and all that sort of stuff. That's the piece that makes a nice paint job look really half-assed and average. Like I'm not going to get real fussy and make that super smooth down the bottom, and behind the bumper or anything. I'm just going to make sure it's clean and all that sort of stuff. If it's a little bit rough and ripply, I'll try and clean it up a little bit. But I'm just going to leave it pretty much as it was factory. Like I'm not going for a show car. I just want it to be nice and clean. When you pop the boot, it looks clean. When you open a door, all the door jams look nice. If there's any little funny dents and imperfections and around the door jams, I'll clean them up as best I can. All that sort of stuff. I think I actually went round and straightened a couple of the seams up on the door jams, probably where it's been sort of knocked and abused over the years. Sort of I dollied them up a little bit just to try and straighten them up, so at least when the door rubber's on, it looks nice and straight and it's not too out of the way. Like eventually, my door rubbers are still in reasonable nick for their age, but they're starting to fray. Actually, they're over here. Where are they? They've got like this sort of like. Can you see that? Yeah, you can now. It's got this woveny fabric sort of like type feel. Yeah, there you go. And it's coming apart. The the proper ones of these like this are about $400 a set, which I'm cringing a bit, but there's a company, mate, that makes a full rubber version, and apparently looks like this, and they're nowhere near half the price. So what I'll do is I'll clean these up for a start off and tidy them up, and then when I get when I get some funds, I'll get some new ones. But I'll just go for the cheaper ones at this stage. Like, I'm not going to spend $400 on like a full set of door rubbers when I can, sort of tidy up what I've got, and then I'll replace them with the cheaper ones. I'm not panicked if they're not the super genuine article, like they even make them in like colours to suit all your upholstery and all your, like you can spend, you can go crazy. So yeah, that's pretty much what I'm up to today. So yeah, until I get my bits and pieces for the motor, I'm going to concentrate on getting the epoxy primer on, and then I can hook into the filling and sanding work, and just double checking to make sure. Probably only other thing too is I'll have might have another wee look at these back guards and just see how close they are. May give them another wee tweak, but I'll possibly just leave them. Like, I know there's there's still quite a wee hump in them, but they're nowhere near as bad as what they were. So, we'll see what sort of happens there. Once I sort of get it all epoxy primed, at least then I'll better have a bit more of a uniform look. Like, it's not all patchy. So I'll have a bit of a better look, and things will show up a little bit better, I think. So yeah, so I'll get back into it and try and get this all cleaned up as good as I can. And if there's any funny little rusty spots that's going to take a fair bit of cleaning up, I'll just flick a little bit of rust kill on again and let that cure for a day or so, and then give it another quick wee scuff, and then hopefully I'll better get into the epoxy primer and start filling. And then once I've got this sort of semi-sorted, probably once I get the epoxy on it, I'll probably leave it for a few days, and then I'll start concentrating on the doors and the bonnet and the front guards and all the rest of it, and sort of probably do one of those, or get 2 or 3 of those at a time. So I'm not having to try to mix too much paint, but I don't want to leave too much paint, with the 2-pack, because once you've mixed it, you've either got to use it or not. I did learn a little tip, but I don't know how long it lasts. Apparently you can put it in the freezer. So yeah, it might last 2 or 3 days in there, I don't know. So that might be handy too. If I've mixed a little bit much, I can probably flick it in a jar or something in the freezer for a few days, and then if I've come back, I can probably flick it on another panel or something like that when I'm ready. But I'll get this main shell epoxied for a start off, and then I'll work on the rest of it. So we'll get back to it, and we'll do some more. Cheers.